It's fall. You can tell it's fall because of the leaves. This is called an establishing shot. I can tell it's fall because it's finally starting to feel like it. The leaves are dying, the wind is blowing, my allergies are out of control, and I have a very special episode for you. Not quite as special as the video I told you all I was working on. That's gonna be on hold for a while. So here we are back at the workbench. Welcome to SparkTober. What's SparkTober, I hear you asking? Shut up and stop asking that, because it's everywhere. And I know I'm excited. It's the hot new marketing buzzword that's taken America by storm. It's a combination of Spark and October, and it's a celebration of all things spooky. Spooky ghosts, spooky goblins, spooky ghouls, spooky pumpkins. I love it. More importantly, companies love it. It's plastered over everything at Walmart. I keep getting emails from work to remind me about Spooktober, and even the YouTube algorithm loves Spooktober. If you want people to see your Halloween videos this year, then you have to go out of your way to say Spooktober as many times as possible for no real reason. And who wouldn't love Spooktober? The best part about cute little words like spooky, Spooktober is that these words are completely inoffensive. You can call anything or anybody with no consequences. Nobody can get mad at you for saying these things, and I, for one, find that very comforting. I mean, maybe government spies might get a little annoyed by Spooktober, but the beauty of that is that if a spy gets in your face about calling them then they'll lose their job and they won't have a reason to be mad anymore. It's a classic self-solving problem. So for these reasons, I'm giving Spooktober SparkYo's very first marketability seal of approval. Tell your friends. This year's runner-up is the Skibidi Toilet Loot Box. Also, I bought some ghost hunting crap. In this very box, I have what paranormal researchers call a REM Pod, and the most common version of this that you'll probably see on TV sells for almost $200. This is a very special and advanced device. It uses electricity to radiate tight beams of EMF field waves in all directions and uses that information to detect people. This is a very important tool and accurate for finding ghosts because everybody knows for sure ghosts are electric people. But don't just take my word for it. Here's a description taken directly from the main website that sells REM Pods. Quote, "What is a REM pod? A REM pod is a piece of ghost hunting equipment that alerts paranormal investigators to changes in ambient temperature. This empowers the investigator to record the data as well as any activity that may have been an inciting incident into their records for later review." End quote. Now, I didn't get that version because 9-volt batteries are immoral. Instead, I bought this USB-powered REM pod, which is a nice screen instead of LED lights, isn't a literal thermometer, and coincidentally, it's a lot less expensive. Opening it up, we have some brief instructions. This is the brand name. They're using a stylized scary ghost font, so I can't quite make out what it says. Beneath that, we have our REM pod in a very nice looking transparent case, 2 removable antennas, each with a 3.5mm jack, which is twice as many as the nearly $200 model, and a USB cable. On the unit itself, we have 2 antenna ports, a headphone jack, which I'm going to plug into a Zoom F2 recorder, USB-C for power, 4 buttons, and a screen. No power switch, so we just need to plug it into a battery and we'll be good to go. It's turning on, and now it's calibrating, so I'm going to pull my hands back. I'm alive, so I have a ghost inside of me, and I don't want it to get confused. I think that's how it works. Let me know in the comments if you have a ghost inside of you, or if you would like to have a ghost inside of you. I wrote that sentence in advance and printed it out on paper. So these 2 antennas do different things. The left antenna tells you how close a ghost is by adjusting the volume. As you get closer, it gets quieter. If you touch it, the tone stops. The right antenna tells you how close a ghost is by changing the pitch of the tone. So I guess they kind of do the same thing. They use sound to tell you how close the ghost is, but they do it in different ways, which is more advanced than the more expensive REM pods. So when you're talking to ghosts, you can be like, "Hey ghost, wave your spirit hand by the left stick if you were axe murdered with a big battle axe, and wave your hand by the right stick if you're axe murdered with a little hatchet axe." And if nothing happens, you can then deduce that the ghost was definitely axe murdered, but with a medium-sized axe, like a wood chopping axe, the very same wood chopping axe you found while investigating the basement. Or you're talking directly to the axe murderer. That'd be pretty exciting, right? There's also a bunch of settings, like different tones to attract different kinds of ghosts. So like, what if the axe murderer you're trying to catch is actually the ghost of a lumberjack who set up elaborate death traps where the victims must make a difficult choice to save their lives? But at what cost, SparkYo? And will these victims ever truly appreciate their lives now that they've had to fight for it? Easy. You just click this button and change the tone to saw. Because lumberjacks use saws a lot, so they'd probably like that. And does it ever stop making that noise? Okay, I'm gonna level with you. I blundered again. You've probably noticed that this isn't a REM pod. It's a mini Theremin or Theremin Plus. I knew it was a Theremin when I bought it. I realized a REM pod basically worked like a Theremin, so I had this whole thing planned out where I was going to spend like $50 and make a way better REM pod than what they sell for $200. Other people have done that, but mine was going to have the screen, the USB, and everything. I even got the super premium antenna. Then we're going to sit back and have a big laugh about how much money we were saving just by buying a toy and sticking it in a box. Ha, ha, ha. But you know what? They got me. I've been through every setting on this thing, and you can't make it work like a REM pod. A REM pod is totally silent until the ghost is nearby, and then it starts emitting this fun analog tone. But you can't make this mini Theremin work like that. You can get a lot closer than what I just showed you, but it's not exactly the same, and it's going to take way too much work to make it the same. So if you want a cheap REM pod, a mini Theremin is not what you want to buy. What you actually want to buy is a junior Theremin. This is the Mad Lab MLP 105 electronics kit. Mine says WSG 105, and this is the real deal. It should cost $12 plus shipping, and I paid $20 total to get here overnight. Now, I don't want to mislead you. I wanted to mislead you before, but not right now. This is a cheap do-it-yourself soldering kit made to teach kids about electronics. So when I say that this is the same as a REM pod, I'm not saying that this cheap toy is going to do pretty much the same thing as a product being sold as a serious custom-designed paranormal investigation tool, and that we should keep making fun of how much they charge. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that this exact kit, this exact board, has been used inside of real REM pods that have been sold to people for a lot of money. And that we should keep making fun of it because of how much they charge. But full disclosure, in defense of the updated version I showed you earlier, they did add a thermometer. It can't display the temperature, but it can change the color of an LED, and this kit doesn't have any color changing LEDs. Also, keep in mind, it's currently on sale for $170. That's $15 in savings. That's a lot of savings. You're saving more money than what this entire kit should cost. Now, I'm excited to see how this works, and this video is not a soldering tutorial, so there you have it, a completed, real working REM pod that I can now repackage into any kind of box that I feel like. It even has a classic 9-volt battery connector. I don't have any 9-volt batteries. They know what they did. Give me a second. Okay, here's a REM pod. It stays quiet. I move my inner ghost near the antenna, and it makes noise and lights up based on how close I get. You can make some minor changes like putting a box, add a power switch, better antenna, move the LEDs to mount on the chassis instead of on the board, but functionally, it is exactly a REM pod. Isn't STEM learning fun, kids? So, what other ghost hunting crap can we make? I know, how about we make a thermometer? Our REM pod didn't come with a thermometer, so why don't we make our own? That'll be fun, right? Once again, this is a soldering kit marketed toward kids, and the product is suitable for children over 8 years old. This kit costs $11, and it has a little bit more going on than our REM pod. Once again, this is not a soldering tutorial, so I'm not gonna do that again. Just watch the time lapse. "40-pin dip sockets, you know, for kids." What's my time? Hopefully, you're not the kind of person who gets a little freaked out when there's too many parts left over. USB powered, let's plug this in, and hopefully it works perfectly the first time, and we made no mistakes. Don't catch fire, don't catch fire. Nada, I'm gonna hit this switch. Oh hey, there we go. That's what that switch does. Okay, according to this thermometer, it is currently 26.3.4.3 C. This 18B20 right here is the temperature probe. So if you want to move the temperature probe, put that on some wires and move it wherever you want. When the module detects that the current temperature is higher than the upper limit temperature value or lower than the lower limit temperature value, the system will automatically alarm. Perfect. It's exactly what you want. In other words, it will alert paranormal investigators to changes in ambient temperature. This empowers the investigator to record the data as well as any activity that may have been an inciting incident into their records for later review. Does exactly what we need it to. Let's try setting. Okay, we'll set the high to low. See, we're above the low temperature limit. It's beeping. It's blinking. That's too loud. And if we raise the temperature by touching the probe, okay, now we're above the lower limit, and the alarm stops. So now with this handy board, if the ghost changes the temperature in the room, you're gonna know about it. This is more complicated than I thought it would be, but it's also more useful than I thought it would be, so not bad. Now with our thermometer taken care of, I have one more bonus ghost hunting tool for you. This is a sound detector, so if there's some sound happening in the area, even if you can't hear it, you'll know to check the audio for EVPs, because the last thing you wanna do is listen to 12 hours of audio without knowing where to look. And you want to do that. You want to find those EVPs. So this little handy pop-up hint will definitely help in your ghost finding. You'll find the ghost with it. It's for ghosts. They made this for ghosts. Here it is, our newfangled magic ghost detecting sound detector. This was $8, and for that price, to be honest, I'm not very impressed with it. Compared to a thermometer that will give you an alarm based off of range, a little microphone and some LEDs are not not as much things. I mean, for that price, I would at least hope to get a little button cell battery connector or something so you can more easily power this, but no, it just gives you 2 pins and says, put some power on it. To be honest, the most interesting part about this board are these LEDs, because each LED has both a red, green, and blue element in it, and every time they're on, all 3 are fully on. There's only 2 pins, you can't control it. I thought maybe if you kept them on, they would start blinking or something. I've had LEDs that do that, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they're special, they're just weird. So anyways, all said and done, how do we make out? Well, we've got our cool little mini Theremin, not as good for detecting ghosts. That was $35, but we're gonna ignore that. We have our junior Theremin, which was $20. Should have been $12, but it was $20. We have our thermostat to alarm you when the temperature changes. That was $11. And we have our noise detector, which was $8. For this entire suite of ghost hunting tools, we spent less than $50. Compared to the price of a real REM pod, we can all point at that and laugh. Plus, we gotta have fun making it, and we have the pride of knowing we can make something for ourselves. Now, powering all 3 at the same time is going to be a little annoying. You can take the USB power from this thermostat board and power the microphone board from it, no problem. And that 5 volt should also power this REM pod, but you're going to have to bypass this little regulator here, which is pretty trivial, but you got to know what you're doing. So, those are our ghost finding tools. Now, personally, I believe that if ghosts were real, they would not be made out of electricity, so these don't help me very much, and I don't know what to do with them. If you have any ideas on what I should do with them, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. No promises, but just in case, go ahead and send me your full name, home address, mother's maiden name, model of your first car, and city you were born in to the email address appearing on your screen. And I'll definitely do something with that. I've been SparkYo. See you next time. Bye.